The bottom line is most people don't know their numbers. They don't know how much they eat and they don't know how much they burn. And that is why a lot of people struggle on their weight loss journey. What I'm about to share with you is for many the make or break between keeping weight off and gaining it back. But before we get into it, I would like to say thank you to all my subscribers. It really means the world for me. And please leave a comment. If you are on a weight loss journey, especially, let me know what you have experienced. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do hit the like button. That helps with the algorithm. And I do have a Substack on which I am a little bit more political. Everything revolves around food, health, nutrition, and ag. So thanks a bunch for all of that. Let's get started. So many Americans tried many diet models, and often people bounce back in their weight. And you might be stressed out because you know you're not healthy. You might be stressed out about your weight. You might be restricted in what you can do because of your weight. And some people might even feel ashamed or might even think it's their own fault. What many people tend to forget is that we do live in a society that really promotes weight gain more than it promotes weight loss. For example, we have very easy access to a lot of unhealthy, highly palatable foods. On top of that, we do have a lot of misinformation on how to lose weight on social media, for example. There are many of those what I call invisible scripts. For example, just eat half of the food, or don't eat any carbohydrates, or don't eat any fats. The big thing here is to understand is that correlation doesn't mean necessarily causation. Just because some people lost weight on a keto diet doesn't mean that the keto diet is the reason they lost weight. And science is now pretty clear on this. The main driver for you to lose weight, even on a keto diet, is the caloric deficit. It's not the fact that you don't eat carbohydrates or that you are on a low carbohydrate diet. It's your caloric deficit. We also made an entire video on that, and I really encourage you to watch this. I want to go really about the points that I think are important for you to lose weight. And the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what do you actually really want from the diet? So a lot of people think a diet has to be restrictive. Most of us, me included, right, want to still enjoy the pleasures that food has to offer, and especially when it comes down to pastries, because I do love pastries. There's no life without pastries. There simply isn't. Statistically also, more people fail in their attempt to lose weight if they are on a restrictive diet model, which means basically for 1 or 2 people successful on the keto diet model, for example, there are several others who were not successful on that. You don't have to torture yourself to lose weight. You don't have to be on a restrictive diet model to lose weight. You don't even have to be on an intermittent fasting to lose weight. Those are all tools that are available to you if you choose them, but they're not necessary for you to lose weight. But what you need to know is you need to know your numbers. And that is where the rubber meets the road. And you have no idea of how many people I talk to who have not the slightest clue about how many calories they burn and how many calories they eat per day. And if you don't do your numbers, your basic numbers, how much calories do you eat, how much calories do you use, then eating food becomes like a lottery. It's like buying a house without knowing your annual income. You need to do your homework. And it's actually really easy to do this. You don't have to go out of your way or come with like a big Excel sheet or like some complicated calculations. There are calorie calculators online right now that you can use. You can click on the link in the description right now and calculate your basal metabolic rate. That's the amount of calories that you need if you do not do anything. That's the amount of energy that your body uses just to keep things going. So there are tons of calculators out there. I prefer the NASM calorie calculator, but there are many others that do calculate your BMR. So most of us do get out of bed and do something. That is called your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. Let's say you're a 30-year-old moderately active man. You take your BMR and then you multiply it by 1.55, right? And then you're probably going to use somewhere around 2,500, 2,600 kilocalories per day. Knowing that number for you specifically is extremely critical on your weight loss journey. The next thing you need to know is get a very good overview of how much energy are in your daily meals. You would be surprised how much calories are in salad dressing. There are tons of apps on the market that help you assessing those calories. They can take pictures of your food and tell you everything you need to know about it. We made a video about those apps as well. The bottom line is most people don't know their numbers. They don't know how much they eat and they don't know how much they burn. And that is why a lot of people struggle on their weight loss journey. And if you know your numbers, then it's a lot easier for you to make the decision. The first thing I tell clients always is to reduce the big ticket items. So that can be sugary drinks, sodas, juices. I know people who drink 3 cans of Coke every day. That's 420 calories and way too much sugar. It can be 4 ounces of chicken breast, 100 grams of brown rice, 120 grams of vegetables with some cooking oil, garlic, and some garnish. That probably accounts for around 420 calories. If you decide today that you just eat 200 calories less than you burn, and you stick to that, you will lose weight. I guarantee you that. Focus on the big ticket items. Cookies, sweets, cakes, etc. But here's the rub. A lot of people tell you should never eat them. And for some people, especially if you're morbidly obese or if you need to lose weight fast, yes, extremely good advice, right? But if you're overweight and you want to gradually lose weight, reducing the consumption of your big ticket items and making them part of your caloric day is much better advice. Because, and this is my last point, you need to enjoy yourself. You need to envision your new life as an enjoyable life and not one of restrictions. And this is why you, and only you, eventually have to decide what you completely cut out of your diet, what you're going to reduce, what you're going to change. The main issue is that you stay in your caloric allowance. And yes, most of us will probably want to change to more healthier food items, to more whole foods, to nutrient-dense foods. But there are so many great delicious recipes with those food items that probably you don't even know. I, for example, love peanut butter and honey sandwiches, and I used to eat them all the time as a snack. But once I understood how caloric that food is, the first thing I cut out was actually peanut butter and honey sandwiches. And instead, I was eating whole fruit as snacks. Today, I eat 2 to 3 fruits every day. That's part of my routine. And I love, for example, my blueberries in the morning. That's something I'm looking forward to every day. And you need something like that as well. But every once in a while, I still treat myself with a peanut butter honey sandwich. Now, I can eat them without being fearful of gaining weight because I understand what they do to my body. And that is where I want you to be. Those little changes, they can become very big if you stick with them. They will get you a lot further than you think. Yes, you might have to change your diet and to low caloric nutrient dense food, and you most likely also have to incorporate some exercise into your routine. But that is fun and that can be very enjoyable and doesn't have to be a headache at all. If you want to know more about this, pre-order my book. The link is in the description. I see you next time. I'm out.